Hey everybody, we're going to wait a couple of minutes to see how many of you are going to come online for class this morning. Start to set up with some props that you might have at home. So that could be yoga blocks if you got them, otherwise a low stool. You can find a low stool if you don't have blocks. We aren't going to use anything that will require a strap, so you don't have to worry about that. And I'll just wait another 5 or 6 minutes until more people pop into the space. I see there's a couple people already on. How's it going? Feel free to type something in the comments if you've got a request or something you are just wanting to share. I've got a little buddy with me today. This is my Obi dog. He's an old guy. He's likely not going to do any kind of yoga with us today, but just have a snooze on the bed right next to my mat. A few more people in. How's it going? Again, feel free to type a message in the comments if you have a request or anything you'd like to share. It's the one positive about home yoga is I can have my pups with me. They're like totally loving life right now that my husband and I are home all the time. They're getting full attention and walks and treats. They're loving it. I'm just going to check the other camera. Hey, Linda, good to see you too. Thanks for making it on. Kind of troubleshooting event. All right, so I'm going to hang out for about another 2 or 3 minutes while everybody gets settled and gathering some props from around your house. So I've got yoga blocks here, but I understand that many people might not have yoga blocks, hey there, at home. So what I recommend is a low step stool if you've got it, or some really thick, fat books, so like a couple Harry Potters stacked on top of each other. I am going to cue you to use blocks today. It, again, doesn't mean you necessarily need to use the blocks, but it is probably going to be beneficial for most bodies. So again, you likely don't have yoga blocks at home, but a low step stool or even a medium high stool is definitely going to help out. And I'll give it another couple of minutes. If you've got any questions, hey Sarah, nice to join in. If you've got any other questions or requests for poses, let me know. And we're just gonna do a pretty gentle, my definition of gentle, we're gonna do a vinyasa flow for sure. We're not doing any crazy poses, just gonna get a nice good stretch on, get the body nice and warm, the muscles nice and warm. So if you want specific stretches, you can write them in the comments right now. People just joining in. So again, I'm just going to give it another couple of minutes to let any last minute stragglers roll on in. My elderly dog is here in class. He's sleeping in his bed over there. So if you happen to see a slow moving dog walk past the screen at any point, it's just him. I'm just going to get myself situated, making sure the cameras can see everything. It looks good. All right, so I'm going to give it one more minute. And if you're just coming into the space now, I do have stuff planned for block work today. So if you don't have yoga blocks at home, a low step stool or even a low plant stand, something like that, just to bring the floor closer to you. We're going to do some wide-legged forward folds, and I gather many of us haven't been doing a lot of movement and a lot of stretching, so it's likely that the muscles are tighter than they usually are. So you might not find yourself being able to go as deep as you may be used to when you were more active and outdoors and doing classes a lot more often. So blocks are going to be pretty beneficial for most bodies today. I don't have anything planned for a strap, and that would be at home basically a towel, but no use for strap today. But blocks, low step stool, grab those, and we're going to get started in just a moment. Alrighty, so we're going to do a pretty basic vinyasa flow class today. No crazy poses or anything like that. Just a nice, pretty accessible class for all bodies. Have those blocks or low stools set up near the top end of your mat. If there's any last pose requests, just type them in the messages. I'll be going back and forth to keep checking the screen, making sure everything is okay. I'll be doing the class with you, so if you're kind of unsure about a pose, take a quick peek. But as much as you can, just listen for my voice to guide you in and out of your poses. We're going to start now sitting down. So a couple of options for sitting down. If you're able to sit back on the heels and do this low kneeling pose, this could be your pose. If you've got that low stool, you could also sit right on top of the block or stool. And if neither of those are working for you because it just doesn't feel nice on the knees, come to an easy crisscross seat. So choosing the shape that's working best for you, I'm going to sit down on my heels. Hands are going to rest down on the tops of your thighs. A little bit of grounding energy with the palms facing down. Sit tall with the crown of the head stacked over your shoulders. Hug your belly button closer towards your spine. See if you're able to sit up even taller. And then close the eyes. Find the breath. Taking a big step away from anything you have done this morning. Anything that might be waiting for you after class. Sitting here on your mat in this calm, relaxing space that you've created. Feel how the body is shifting with every inhale and exhale. See if you can make your inhales and your exhales longer. Controlling the movement of the breath. sighing out exhales. Wherever you are, about 3 to 5 more rounds of some of your fullest breaths of the day. And then at the bottom of your next exhale, you can place your palms at heart center. Tuck your chin towards your chest. Blink the eyes open to find your fingertips. And then inhale, reach the arms up overhead. Gaze will follow. And exhale, hands to heart center. We'll take 2 more of those. So as big of a breath in to circle the arms up. And as big of a breath out to bring the hands back to heart center. And last one, inhale and exhale. Now we're going to come into mermaid pose. So the feet are just going to shift off to the right side of the mat. Now if you were in crisscross, just adjust yourself so the feet are off to the right. A lot of weight is in that left hip. Reach the right hand over by the feet. It could also be on that block or stool if it feels really far away. Left arm sweeps all the way up, inhale, and then exhale, dive across, reaching that left arm over towards the right side of the mat. Try to take the right side of your body and corkscrew it towards the left side of the wall. So you are sitting up nice and tall. And now take this left hand and reach it towards the front right corner of your mat. So there's a little bit of a scrunching action happening on the right side body. Your next inhale, diagonal line. That arm reaches all the way up and back. And then exhale, let's take it forward again. We're gonna go 3 more of those. Inhale, open up. And exhale, take it over. 2 more, your breath. Last one. Then you'll sit up tall, tap the left fingertips off left side of the mat. We'll come into boat pose from here. So that could mean your hands stay grounded as you swing the legs forward. A little more of a challenge, hand find heart center, and you extend those feet forward. Sitting tall, breathing for 4, 3, 2, 1, tapping the feet down, squeeze and round in, and then take a roll forward. Hands to the top of the mat, and you'll find your tabletop hands and knees. Spread the fingers as wide as you can. You can take a couple moments to go side to side with the hips or a couple of rounds of cat-cow. Notice what feels nice in your body and go with it. Working your way back to that tabletop. Take your navel, hug it towards your spine. So you'll feel a little bit more contraction and a flatter back. And then step each foot to the back of the mat so you've got your high plank pose. Actively press the mat away from you so your shoulders are strong. Gaze is down. Big breath in here. And exhale, hips high, downward facing dog. Take a little half step in with the feet. And then you can sway around with the hips, bending into one knee at a time. So just checking in to see how you're feeling in your downward facing dog. Take a breath to settle in without any movement. And then inhale, lift heels. Exhale, bend knees, look forward. Inhale, step feet to hands. And then exhale, fold. Inhale to sweep all the way back up. Big breath in. And exhale, hands heart center. So we're going to take a slowed down sun B. Starting off with chair pose. Little bend into the knees, the arms extend. Take a few breaths here. And then exhale to take your fold. Inhale, walking the feet back, high plank pose. Exhale, it's your first low plank. You might drop the knees down to the mat, elbows straight behind you. Upward facing dog, pull your chest forward, and exhale, downward dog. Let's take that right leg in the air, three-legged dog, and then you can stack the hip, bend into that knee, and find a lifting motion of that right knee. You can draw some circles with the knee, move around in the ankle, the toes. And then take a look forward and step right foot top of the mat. So for warrior one, drop that back heel down and you're creating a half V shape with that back foot. Sweep the arms up to frame the ears. Soften the shoulders here. And then let's take it back down. Step that right foot back, high plank pose, and exhale to take your low plank. Upward face, inhale, and downward facing dog, exhale. To the left leg rises in the air, and then stack and bend, roll open on this side. Taking some of those same movements you just found on the first side. And then take a gaze forward and step left foot to the top of the mat. Back heel drops down at an angle, and then the arms sweep up, framing the ears, warrior one. So you're reaching the arms, but relaxing the shoulders. Find a deep bend into that front knee. And then fold, exhale. Stepping back, inhale, plank pose. Exhale, low plank. Upward face, inhale, and downward dog, exhale. Few breaths here in the downward face. And inhale, lift heels. Exhale, bend knees, look forward. Inhale, hop or step feet to touch. Fold, exhale. Now we're going to sweep up through chair pose. So you bend the knees, reach the arms. We're finishing off the sun B with chair. And then exhale, come right back to standing. So now we're going to take another sun B, but only one breath per pose. So it's going to be a lot quicker. Inhale, chair pose. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, plank pose. Exhale, low plank. Inhale, upward face. Exhale, downward face. Inhale, right foot forward. Come all the way up, warrior one. Exhale, fold down. Step back on the inhale, low plank, exhale. Right back up, inhale, downward dog, exhale. Other side, left foot forward. Take it all the way up on the inhale, and then go all the way back down, exhale. Step back, inhale, plank. Exhale, low plank. Upward face, inhale, and downward dog, exhale. Few breaths here. Notice how the breath has picked up. The body will feel warmer. And then finishing off the sun B, look forward, take a hop or step, feet to hands, and exhale, fold. Rise through chair pose, and then standing, exhale. All right, let's reach. Take a couple deep breaths here. You might even find a rag doll where the feet separate. You can take a hold of opposite elbows. Come back to the breath. Notice how it has shifted from the very start of class. And then plant the palms down, take a step back, high plank pose, option to vinyasa or go straight to down dog. If you're vinyasing, exhale, low plank. Inhale up and downward dog, exhale. Lower your knees down to the mat. Sit back on the heels. And now let the feet sweep over towards the left side of the mat. So we've got that same mermaid pose. Left hand is reaching off by the feet, maybe sitting on that block or stool. Right arm up. Now start by opening your body up towards the right and then take your lean over towards the left. So you should feel a lot of opening along right side to that outer hip, up the ribs, under the arm. And then that dynamic movement. Allow yourself to turn in towards the body and reach over towards the left corner. And then all the way up with the arm and open behind you. So an exhale to curl yourself in. And then that inhale opens you back up. Exhale. And inhale. Exhale. And inhale. Last one. Right arm straight up. And now you tent it off the right side of the mat. So here's another work towards that boat pose. Hands can stay grounded as you sweep the feet forward, or hands find heart center and you sweep the feet forward. Option to take this boat a little deeper by straightening through the legs, maybe extending the arms, or taking anywhere along the way. We're gonna breathe for 5, 4, 3, 2, tap down on 1, give yourself a well-deserved hug in, and then take your roll forward. Hands return to the top of the mat, and feet will step plank. Exhale to your low plank, chaturanga, upward facing dog, and now downward facing dog. Take a couple of deep breaths here. If there's movements you need in your down dog, shift around for a moment and then try to settle into stillness. Allow that right leg to rise in the air, 3-legged dog, and then step forward. Right foot to the top of the mat, left heel will stay lifted, so you're coming into your high lunge. Inhale, arms up to frame the ears. So check in, you can even bring hands at hips. If you feel that right hip is in front of the left, draw the right one back and try to bring that left one forward. Arms reaching up, relax the shoulders, hands to heart center. Breath in here, sit tall. Exhale, twist to the right. If you'd like to take this a little further, you can bring left hand down to the outside of that right leg, and the right arm can open up behind you. And come back to center, arms up overhead, into your warrior 2. So now you're dropping that left heel down. Arms are reaching to the front and back of the mat. Keep that front knee over that ankle and pressing towards the right side of the mat. Gaze is softly forward. Bring your hands to your hips, straighten that right leg, and allow those right toes to face in. Set the feet parallel, so all 10 toes in with the heels out a bit. Now, if you know the backs of your legs are feeling pretty tight, you might want your blocks here for this forward fold. We're gonna reach the arms up, inhale. Exhale, hands to hips. Lift the chest, inhale, and now take your forward fold. So hands to blocks or all the way down to floor or mat, and then press the mat away, inhale, and then fold at the hip, exhale. So if you have depth in this pose, the elbows are going to bend straight back and the hands can walk between the feet. Allow the head to be very heavy here. Walk the hands now back out underneath the shoulders. You might be a little bit off the mat. And then we're going to start by lifting that left arm all the way up towards the ceiling on the inhale. Exhale, tap that left hand back down. Other side, inhale, right arm up, and exhale, right hand down. Inhale, left. Exhale, down. Inhale, right. And exhale, down. One more each side. Inhale. And down. Right up. And down. Inhale that left arm up, pause. Now we're going to thread left arm underneath the right one, reaching that left hand over towards that right foot. And if you walk the right hand out in front of you, it usually gives a little more space for you to find this twist underneath. That left hand might also take a hold of anywhere along that right leg. Left hand meets the right hand, and let's walk closer to the mat again. Now we're going to come to low lunge from here. So walk the hands forward to the top of the mat again. Allow that right knee to bend, and then drop the left knee all the way down to the mat. You can untuck those back toes. Finding a twist going in the opposite direction than we're used to going in a twist, or in a low lunge. So you can use your blocks or your stool to peel the chest away from that top thigh. And then we're going to reach the right arm up and then rest the elbow down on that right thigh so that the palm is spinning up. Left arm now reaches up and it's going to open up behind you. Still that palm lifted up towards the ceiling as well. Many places to go along the way here. So you can pick up that back foot and now flip that palm down and you can high five that back foot. Another piece, face forward, bring that left shoulder forward and you could unload this right arm now up towards the ceiling. So anywhere that you can steadily breathe along the way is fine. Carefully come out of it, that back foot down, hands return to the mat, blocks or stool can shift out of the way. Tuck the back toes under, lift that knee up, and now let's step right foot back, high plank. Exhale to your low plank, upward face, inhale, and meeting in downward dog, exhale. Lift your heels, bend your knees, look forward, hop or step, feet to the top of the mat, and then fold. Sweep all the way up to standing, breath in, and exhale, heart center. So here's where you will need your blocks or your stool. Set them up at the top of your mat. So tall setting. So even if you have a tall stool here, it's totally fine. We're going to come into tree pose on the right side to start. So right hand comes to the front of that right shin and then guide the hip open. So the foot now facing right. Take a hold of that foot, bring it either above the left knee or below it. And then hands can find heart center. You can go one step further here by reaching the arms up. You could also take right hand inside that right leg, guiding me in. And the very last piece is then taking a tip over towards the right. Again, all of this is just optional. Then let's pass back through center, come out the way you came in. You can re-straighten that right leg and then set it down. Take the top of your left foot behind you. We're going to work dancer pose into half moon pose. So the arms are going to reach up overhead, and then that left hand out like a wing. I'm just going to turn to the side so you can see. Lift off of that back leg, bend the knee, wrap around to find the ankle. Notice how my knee splayed out to the side. Bring that knee back to the opposite one. We're going to focus on lifting very tall here. So imagine your heart could reach the ceiling. Press that right arm back, and the strength of that left foot lifts higher. Here's the transition. Hinge forward, and that right hand is going to find your block or your stool. Keeping a hold of that bind, stack the hip, and then you can release. Left arm up, left leg long. You're now in half moon pose. A couple of breaths here. And then release into a ragdoll. So hands forward, feet forward. You can pedal, shake it out. Your ragdoll could be with the arms in front of you or even behind. And then plant your palms down. Take a step back to find high plank pose. If you need to skip this one, go straight to downward facing dog. Otherwise, low plank to upward face and downward facing dog. Let's bring the feet a little wider apart from each other and then glide out high plank pose. You might need to shift the feet back to find the stacking of your joints. Let the heels now drop over towards the right. Left hand to hip or overhead. Supported side plank could be that right knee lowering down to the mat. If you like a variation of your side plank, take it. You could stack left foot on top of right. You could float that left leg in the air, and then we're all going to take that left arm and reach it out in front of you. Let's come back to down dog, both hands down, hips high. Shorten your down dog, step the feet in a bit. Now take the right hand, give it a circle, and thread underneath you. So you're reaching now somewhere for along that left leg. And if the left leg is not accessible, just reach that hand off the side of the mat. If you wanted to have some fun and play around with balance, this right foot gets a little lighter and it can float off of the mat. So you're in a two-legged dog. And then forget about that. Hand and foot down, give it a shake out. Look forward and come to sit. The legs are going to straighten out in front of you. So you've got your wide-legged forward fold. I'll just turn towards you a little bit so you can see more easily. So a lot of the core is being used now to sit upright. I want you to focus on your pelvis. Instead of that tailbone tucking under, see about pressing the tailbone back and sitting up nice and tall, all the while keeping your navel hugged in towards the spine. The arms will then reach up overhead. Seems like a pretty standard, easy pose, but you are asking your core to do so much work right here. Basket the hands behind the head. Press the elbows back on your inhale. Exhale, a little tick-tock over to the right. Inhale, sit tall again. And then exhale to the left. Inhale, center. Exhale, right. Inhale and exhale. One more each side. Returning to center, extend your arms and release the hands down. Take your right foot, place it to the inside of your left leg. So it's like tree pose, but the hips are pretty open still. Sweep the arms up, take your twist towards that right knee, drop the left hand down, and extend the right arm back for a twist. This right hand can also tent down to the mat, and just watch that left hip isn't popping off of the mat. Keep your twist, but reach the right arm up, and then take a side lean. So opening up that right side. For the last couple breaths, feel free to release that left hand, and it can slide inside that left leg. This is your gate pose. Draw yourself back upright. Turn to face all the way forward. Both legs straight out in front of you. Give them a bouncing bob to release. And then plant both feet on the mat, bending into your knees. Scoop up underneath your thighs to come into your boat pose. Then we're going to sink your boat all the way down onto your back so the arms can extend. Take a breath in here. And then exhale about a third of the way down. Inhale here. Exhale to about halfway. Inhale here. Exhale to a hover. Inhale here. And release down. Take a hold of the knees. Wrap the arms around. Press the back into the mat and take a couple rocks side to side. Place the feet on the mat. So we're going to set up for a traditional bridge pose to start, and then an option for a different leg shape and bridge pose for round 2. So for round 1, the setup of bridge I think is really important. So the feet are grounded, the toes are slightly angled in, and the knees are directly over your ankles. So the knees aren't touching and the feet are not touching. Arms down by your sides, the fingertips might graze your heel. Press the feet down on your inhale, and then exhale, sweep the hips up towards the ceiling. The legs and the feet and the low back are doing a lot of the work here. See if you can turn your glutes off a bit. And then also lift your chin towards the ceiling so you're pressing the weight down at the back of the head as opposed to the cervical spine. Your next exhale to release the hips down to the mat. Bring the feet into touch, letting the knees splay to the side. Arms can reach wide or for the back wall to release the shoulders. Round 2, so gather the knees in again. Knees step over the ankles, toes slightly in. Arms down, inhale, feet press. Exhale, hips rise. So you can stay here if you'd like. One step further is that right leg will lift up towards the ceiling. Give that ankle a spin. And then right ankle rests on top of left thigh. Find your figure 4. You're asking that right hip to do a lot to stay in line with your left hip. Try not to let that right hip sink down. Keep breathing. Keep this leg shape, but release the hips down. So you still have your figure 4. Now let's let the legs drop off the left side of the mat, and the arms can open wide. Gaze can go towards the right to find a spinal twist. Gaze towards the ceiling again. Replant that left foot on the mat. Right leg will extend, give it a spin, and then hug both knees in, find a rock side to side. Scoop behind the legs now, and on the last one, you'll come forward, plant the palms. You can practice hopping all the way back or step back. Let's take a vinyasa, low plank, to up dog, to down dog, and take some breaths in this downward facing dog. From downward facing dog, let's sweep your left leg in the air and then step left foot forward. So we're coming into your high lunge. Right heel stays stacked over the ball of the foot. Lunge into that left knee and then sweep the arms up. So again, you can take the hands to the hips and just check that the hips are, the right hip should be pressing forward. And then your hands can find center again. Take a breath in and then exhale your twist to the left. You should feel a nice stretch along that right hip flexor. If you took it further, right hand can slice across to that left leg and that left arm reaches up and open behind you. Working on stacking the shoulders over the hips. And then arms sweep up overhead again. Let's find your warrior two. So that back heel now drops down. Warrior two, you can have a ton of space between the 2 feet. And this left knee is working on stacking over the ankle and pressing open behind you. Gaze forward, few breaths. Hands to hips. Straighten that left leg and now angle those toes in. So you're set up for your wide-legged forward fold. Let's have the arms go wide on the inhale. Interlace the hands at the low back. Press the knuckles down. Lift your heart. So actively press your heart higher. Squeeze the shoulder blades back. Keep all of this and now take it into your fold. The knuckles may lift off of the back towards the ceiling, but I want you to bring the weight evenly in the feet, not just all the weight rested in your heels. Come up about halfway, and now let's release the hands all the way down. So again, if you use block or a stool on this side, find that again. Now let's start with that right hand. So inhale, the right arm reaches up towards the ceiling. Exhale, tap that hand down. Inhale, left arm up. And exhale, left down. Inhale to the right. Exhale. Inhale, left. And exhale. Last round. Then let's lift that left arm, the right arm again, right arm in the air, and thread right arm underneath the left one, reach towards the original front end of the mat, walk the left hand out in front of you, and allow the head to be heavy underneath left arm. That right hand might even take a hold of somewhere along the left leg. Release the hands out in front of you. And walk the hands back underneath you. I don't know about you, but I feel like I could have spent minutes in that pose. I forget that I'm teaching a class and that we have to move on. All right, let's walk the hands to the original top of the mat again. The feet will react so that you come into this low lunge, dropping the right knee down and untucking those back toes. The left toes are facing forward, and feel this connection maybe between the stomach and your left thigh. You might use blocks here to keep the bend in the knee, but just peel the torso away from that thigh. So nothing was lost in the hips. That left arm can now reach up and the elbow resting on the leg, palm spun up. Right arm now reaches up for some balance and take your twist open to the right. That palm spun up as well. So you're taking this as far as you took it on the first side. You can now spin that right palm down and lift that back foot, trying to give it a high five. But if that's not happening for you, I suggest just letting the leg return long. You can also now spin that right shoulder forward, facing forward, and for full balance, that left arm now reaches up. And then release what you have. Leg long, hands down, blocks out of the way, back toes tucked down, lifting that knee, and the left foot steps back. Inhale, high plank. Exhale, low plank. Inhale, upward face, and exhale, downward dog. Lift the heels, bend knees, look forward, hop or step to the top of the mat, and take your folding exhale. Sweep back up, inhale, and Namaste, hands to heart center. So find the block / stool, maybe the stack of books that you used on the first side to come into the standing balances. We'll start with tree pose on the left side. So facing forward, hands to hips, left knee draws in. You can take a hold of that shin, pull up, and then allow that knee to open to the side. Foot can go above the knee or below the knee, and then hands to center. Here are the steps to take you further in the pose if you'd like. Arms can reach. Left hand inside left leg, guiding open. Right arm taking a tip to the left. All the way back to center. Give that leg a shake and step it down. You can pedal out the feet. Top of your right foot now behind you for that dancer pose. Sweep the arms up, and then the right arm comes out like a wing. Lift off of that back foot, bend the knee, and take a hold of the ankle, or inside or outside of ankle, doesn't matter. But draw that right knee into left again. Lift the chest, press that right foot higher, extend that left thumb behind you, dancer pose, Natarjasana. Here's the transition. Now we're going to lean forward. See if you can take hold of that bind and keep it. Left hand to your block or stool. Now we're going to stack that right hip on top of left and unload arm and leg into your half moon pose, Ardha Chandrasana. And then release into your ragdoll. 2 feet down, pedal the feet out. You can sway around in here, shifting ragdoll side to side, arms in front, arms behind. You could also make a basket with the hands, rest them at the back of the head. Lower the hands down to the mat. You can take a hop back or a step back, high plank. If you want to skip this one, go straight to dog. Otherwise, low plank, upward face, and downward facing dog. Take a couple of breaths here, steadying the inhales with the exhales. And then we have to take downward dog in a high plank pose. So you can let the feet go a little wider and glide it out. Shoulders are over the wrists. Now let the heels drop towards the left. If you took the left knee down, do that again. Right hand to hip or overhead. So you've got side plank, Vashisthasana. That right foot can stay where it is, or it can stack on top of the left. It could also lift up into a starfish pose. Whatever you're doing with the legs, reach that right arm in opposition. So you're getting a big stretch along right side. Let's go straight to dog. 2 hands down, hips high. Shorten your dog up, take a little step in. Now that left hand, let's give it a rest. Circle it out and thread it underneath. You can find somewhere along that right leg, or you can just reach it off the side of the mat. Now, 2-legged dog is here for those who would like to play around with it. Those left toes get a little lighter, and eventually they can hover and lift all the way off of the mat. I have to look straight down to help me get into that pose. And then release. Look forward, hop or step to sit, and straighten the legs out in front of you. Give the knees a shake. Both of the wrists can find a circling release. And then open into that V shape, Upavishta. So the toes are actively pulling towards your face, and the heels are pressing forward. You can sit behind you to help you bump those hips, or the hands can go behind you rather, to bump the hips forward. And then see if you can keep this same tall shape, but now sweep the arms up. So the thighs are doing more work, your hip flexors are doing work, the core. We're gonna add some twisting here. Breath in at center. Exhale, let's go to the left first, tap the fingertips down. Inhale, come back to center. And exhale, take it to the right. Inhale, sit tall. Exhale, left. Inhale, tall. And exhale, right. Inhale, center, pause. Hands can come down in front of you. Active feet, take a walk out. So notice how I'm not rounding in here to get further. My chest is still pulling forward, and I'm literally folding at my hip crease. Once I can no longer fold over that hip crease, I'll feel it behind my legs. That's as far as my hamstrings will allow me to go. And then you can just gaze down. If you've got your stool or your blocks handy, you could also rest the forearms down there. Very carefully return all the way upright. So again, if you normally practice yoga on a regular basis, that could have been a good indicating pose as to how limber you may have stayed over these last couple of weeks, or possibly how tight you've gotten over these last couple of weeks. Take this left foot, bring it into that right inner thigh. Both hip points grounded, sit tall, twist to that left knee. Right hand down, left arm reaches back, and it can stay reaching or it can tent down behind you. Just don't let this right hip pop up. Left arm now lifts to the ceiling. Keep twisting. Imagine you can keep twisting all the way behind you, but add the side stretch for gate pose. And then you can even release that right hand inside the right leg. And that hand can help spiral you open. Rise back up. You'll spin all the way forward if you haven't been facing forward. You can straighten the legs, give them a little shake. And then plant the feet on the mat. We'll scoop underneath the thighs to come into your boat pose once again, and we're gonna sink the boat one last time. Sitting up tall in your boat pose, hug that core in, and then lifting the feet. If you'd like to just go straight down, feel free to go straight down. Otherwise, the arms can extend, and I'll let you take as many breaths as you'd like to control and lower yourself down to the mat. For those overachievers who are still working their way down, take another couple breaths. And then we can all wrap the arms around the knees. Now press the back into the mat. That's going to help release the core. Give some love to the low back. Let's take one more bridge pose. So the feet plant on the mat. Angle the toes in. Inhale, press feet down, and exhale, let the hips rise. Once again, just notice that the head is pressing down so that the chin can find some lift. And if you took this on the first side, that left leg lifts into the air, circle that ankle out. Figure 4, left ankle, right thigh. Keep the hips nice and square. Press the hips to the ceiling. Keep the breath flowing. Sink the hips down. Arms can go wide. If you didn't take the shape, bring that left ankle on your right thigh, and then let the legs fall right. Gaze can go towards the left. Gaze to the ceiling, right foot plants on the mat again. Straighten that left leg in the air, give a little spin. Right leg can come to meet it so that both legs are up overhead. Spread the toes really wide. Point and flex through the feet. Circle the ankles. And then hug in. Take a couple of rocks up and down to come through to your very final vinyasa. So take this at your pace. If you'd like to skip it and go straight to down dog, do that as well. We'll all meet in downward facing dog. In this final downward dog, some movement is going to feel really nice for the body. Pedaling the feet out, letting the knees bend one at a time, letting the hips re-sway. Take a couple breaths without any movement in your downward dog. And then you can come to sit facing forward. So thank you all for joining this live stream class today. Personally doing the class myself, I feel a lot better. I hope you feel nice and stretched and warmer than when you first came onto your mat. So as you know, I'm going to continue doing these classes every Friday at 11. I've got some other uploads and live streams throughout the week as well. These classes will remain available to anybody and everybody. I will never be asking a pay for access style of class. Everything is going to be always available. If you are, however, able to contribute anything at the end of class, I would greatly appreciate it. I've got a Venmo and a PayPal, which I will put up in front of the screen. Again, if you are able to, I know these times are tough. I'd greatly appreciate anything. So, hands to heart center. Take a big breath in. Sigh your air out. Please lay down on your mat. Take a couple of moments to find any final poses you might like. A happy baby, another spinal twist, legs into the air. And then allow yourself to find stillness in Shavasana for at least a good 3 to 5 minutes. Your body deserves it. The mind will feel better after. And again, I just want to thank you so much for joining in this class. Be well, stay happy, stay healthy. Namaste.